Hey guys, this is a really rough video, but I decided to upload it anyways for posterity because I think it's important that I have this to look back on for myself. So if it's not your type of video, I totally get it. Regardless, if you do decide to stick around and watch it, then I hope you enjoy. Hey guys, I'm on the ground right now with there's a bunch of shoes over here. Can you see them? Are those actually in the camera? You don't need to see my shoes. Anyways, oftentimes in life we have these days or we have these moments which you realize are big life-changing events, but you can't really process them or appreciate them at the moment because too much is happening. Too much is going on all at once. And today was one of those days, so I thought it'd be really nice to chronicle it for myself, but also for you guys, because some of this stuff is really interesting, about how my last day at Houghton College went. Now, I say last day, but technically this is my last day of classes. I have more days left. We have final exam week, and I'm going to be staying until next Friday, but this Friday is the last day I have an actual class. So anyways, let's talk about my day. So the first thing I did today is I went to my final class. Throughout the last few weeks of classes, we've been doing presentations where everybody does a presentation to the entire group about a book that they've been reading for this semester about communications. And what do you know, I got to go on the last day of classes. However, I did something kind of funny with my presentation. I decided that instead of doing like 10 or 12 slides, I made 51. The idea was that I was just going to rapid fire through my slides. Not this fast, but you get the idea. I was going to rapid fire through my slides so that people stay engaged as I was talking about the book, which is really dense. So it's kind of necessary that I tried to make it entertaining in some sort of way. And I will say my presentation ended up going super well, not only because I did this interesting way of organizing slides, but also because the other person who was going to be presenting that day was not able to get to class. So I had not just 12 minutes like I was originally supposed to have, but 45 minutes. I had the whole class to myself in order to explain whatever I wanted to about this book, which was great because if you don't know, I like talking. We ended up just basically turning my book into its own class, so that was really cool. After that, I took a visit to a arts and crafts fair that was happening at my college. In our campus center, we had tons of arts and crafts where people were selling stuff. You can see the pictures, you can see what I'm talking about. And I ended up getting, oh crap, where did I leave it? Look, it's a goodie bag moment. Put text on the screen. What's in this goodie bag? Well, the first thing was a free thing I grabbed from the activities fair, and it's this cute little sign of a kitten and a Bible verse, which is like super duper wholesome. And maybe my sister wants it because the cat looks kind of like the cat that I have, the one that stole my Nintendo Switch from me. And then after that, I got another goodie bag. Whoa! And for this one, I ended up getting these honey lollipops. I got 2 root beer flavored ones, which I'm not gonna pull up both of them. And then I also got a cinnamon flavored one. And those are gonna keep me fat and giggly for a long time. After that, I was supposed to go to this thing called chapel, and you go and do music and have a small sermon, but I did not do that. However, something I did do is I worked on my paper about the South African War. It's a really big paper. This is my capstone paper for history, my history major. It's a major paper about Americans that fought in the South African War in 1899, which is unusual because why are Americans even over there in the first place? So it ended up being a really cool thing, but it's 20 to 40 pages long. That's the requirement for the paper. I know, that's a huge range, but it's also an intimidating range because even 20 pages is a lot. Right now, I'm actually only at 15 pages, which is not enough. and it's due in 3 days, so I gotta cook. After writing a bunch of stuff for that paper, I then was invited by a friend to go to a nearby high school. This sounds so random, but basically, I have a friend named Evan who has another friend named Gavin, and Gavin actually knows about my Zelda YouTube channel, so he was at the nearby high school. So me and Evan walked over to the high school, which is right nearby, and we just had lunch together, and it was great. And then while lunch was happening, they actually had live footage playing of the World Cup game between the Croatian team and the Brazilian team. Croatia won, which was a huge upset, and also upset a lot of the people there. This was an international student school, so there were a lot of Brazilians who were watching that and got just destroyed afterwards. They were just had their hands on their knees and they were bent over and they were super quiet. Anyways, after that, I went back to working on my South African war paper, and then after working on the South African war paper, I also went to the Mac lab on campus, and I worked on a group project that we needed to do a little bit of test editing with, and I goofed around with that. I got to hang out with some friends, one of whom needed some help with a speech and practicing it, so that was kind of fun. Then I went and got dinner, and then I rushed over with a takeout container to the Mac lab again, because at the Mac lab they were having a ball pit party. That's right, the ball pit came back. They brought it back for the second time this semester, and I was able to be there again, and they watched the movie Claws.
Confidence. Confidence. Hey, who threw at me? Big no.
That was a huge blast. We still can't convince the professor that we'd like to keep the ball pit forever, but we're trying, we're working on it. Before I did get going, one of my friends came over, this guy named Joey came over, and he was like, "Hey Bert, remember how you made a video for like that talent show that happened earlier in the semester? Well, how would you like to get an award for it?" And he came over and he gave me this glass award, which I don't know if it's even possible to read what it says on it. Is that even legible? If it's not, I'll put text on the screen that translates it. Basically, it says Award for Documentary 2019 Film Fest, Houghton College, which is wrong on multiple levels because this is not, I'm in 2022. And also, Houghton College is now Houghton University. They just changed the name. They basically had a bunch of these in the closet somewhere, and Joey's a part of one of the clubs on campus that's like a big deal because they're always like, organizing stuff like for activities on campus, and they ran into these and they were like, "We're gonna give them to people." And they said, "Why don't we give them to the people who actually made videos for the recent talent show?" And that made a reflection. Come back. Where's the reflection? It was on the wall, it was there. So I now have this award, which is pretty cool. I got an award on my last day of classes for something that I did months ago, or apparently in 2019, and on a college campus that doesn't exist anymore. They actually had a second one they also gave out, and I was in charge of giving that one to my friend Becca, who was got the commercial award. So that's really cool. And then at 7 o'clock, I went back to my dorm building and I helped out at an event called Rotheneuler, which is the name of the dorm, and then you just add the word Euler at the end. And it's kind of like a haunted house, but instead of being haunted, it's Halloween edition. And members of the community and students are invited to just walk through the building and do activities on each of the floors. And each of the floors kind of plays up their theme and has things for you to do. For instance, on my floor, we had a mafia theme, and we decided that we would have a mystery for people to solve, where they could, analyze clues and do a logic puzzle to figure out who stole our Christmas fedora. And then we also had a cookie crafting station, where you decorate cookies. There were also a ton of other great themes for the other floors. I'm not gonna be able to go through all of them, but needless to say, they were really cool. The aristocrat floor especially was super quirky and memorable. And then at about 10 o'clock, I went to the midnight breakfast, which is now renamed late night breakfast, where the staff on campus and a lot of the professors get together and make, they serve breakfast to the students, who then just kind of have breakfast in the middle of the night. It's kind of a nice way of the faculty and staff and students to just get together and kind of mentally prepare for the finals week that's going to be happening very soon.
Ah, yum. Ah, yum.
Now, I thought that was going to be the end of the day, but actually what ended up happening is I was invited to play some games with some friends on the first floor of the Roth building. So I ended up doing that. I don't think I have anything insightful to say about it. Everybody wanted to say goodbye to me as if it was like the last time they'd be seeing me, which is kind of ominous. But they were like, "Oh no, Burton, you're going away. Ah!" And I'm like, "Ah!" So I fist bumped them, gave them handshakes, and then I went up to my room and I listened to Howl's Moving Castle, the theme song. And then I watched a bunch of YouTube shorts, and then I decided to record all of this that you're seeing right now, me, on the floor. Well, it's 2:30. Thanks for watching, and until I see you next time, have fun, storm of the castle.